Should we do a vocal warm-up?
Do we sing with him?
Yes. Yeah.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Till somebody making spirits cry. What fun it is to ride and sing and sing songs tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, what fun it is to ride a one-horse open sleigh.
Merry Christmas!
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a painting he did of a tree.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 archival gloves
and a painting he did of a tree.
On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 haiku lines,
2 archival gloves
and a painting he did of a tree.
On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 hooks crocheting,
3 haiku lines,
2 archival gloves
and a painting he did of a tree.
On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 guitar strings,
4 hooks crocheting,
3 haiku lines,
2 archival gloves
and a painting he did of a tree.
On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 crooners hymning,
5 guitar strings,
4 hooks crocheting,
3 haiku lines,
2 archival gloves
and a painting he did of a tree.
On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 ukuleles,
6 crooners hymning,
5 guitar strings,
4 hooks crocheting,
3 haiku lines,
2 archival gloves
and a painting he did of a tree.
On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 8 quilters quilting,
7 ukuleles,
6 crooners hymning,
5 guitar strings,
4 hooks crocheting,
3 haiku lines,
2 archival gloves
and a painting he did of a tree.
On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 9 tappers tapping,
8 quilters quilting,
7 ukuleles,
6 crooners hymning,
5 guitar strings,
4 hooks crocheting,
3 haiku lines,
2 archival gloves
and a painting he did of a tree.
On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 10 pence for drawing,
9 tappers tapping,
8 quilters quilting,
7 ukuleles,
6 crooners hymning,
5 guitar strings,
4 hooks crocheting,
3 haiku lines,
2 archival gloves
and a painting he did of a tree.
On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 authors typing,
10 pence for drawing,
9 tappers tapping,
8 quilters quilting,
7 ukuleles,
6 crooners hymning,
5 guitar strings,
4 hooks crocheting,
3 haiku lines,
2 archival gloves
and a painting he did of a tree.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 potters throwing,
11 authors typing,
10 pence for drawing,
9 tappers tapping,
8 quilters quilting,
7 ukuleles,
6 crooners hymning,
5 guitar strings,
4 hooks crocheting,
3 haiku lines,
2 archival gloves,
and a painting he did of a tree.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right. All right, everybody. Good to see everyone. Happy holidays. My name is Hannah. I have a little assistant, Marisa, and we're going to be doing some Christmas ornaments, and they're going to be special. We're doing wood slices. So I don't know if you guys have seen these right here. I see them all over the place now, wood slices. So I've always wanted to figure out what to do with our wood slices.
So cool.
And they're so fun to do. They look really cool. These, I bought these pre-drilled, so you can string whatever string you want in them. I have this. I have a bunch of this color, so I will be using this later. But yeah, let's get started with it. I have a painty project here. So we have our clean wood slices, nothing on them. They are pre-drilled, like I said, and we do have paints. What I also have a flat brush. I have a pointy brush. That should be all we need. Also have a napkin as well. Have plenty of water, and of course, it's very important to roll your sleeves up because this is paint we're talking about. I also have a palette as well. So you can use, if you don't have an actual palette, you're more than welcome to use, paper plates. Paper plates. Yes, paper plates. So yeah, let's get started. The thing about wood slices is that it wants to absorb the water. So I'm actually first going to take my brush and I'm going to brush a bunch of water on top. This is actually the same technique that you use to paint those terracotta planters. If you ever wanted to paint those, it just wants to suck that water right up. So put it on down first. That'll make the paint a little bit easier to flow. And then I will actually pick a color. And I always like to start in the middle and kind of, add a little bit of paint here, but then skip a little bit and then start to work on the outside. We will be using a lot of water, so don't be shy, Marisa. Use a lot of water. See that? Then I can start to spread it. You see how it gets a little bit
so that's where you add the water before.
Exactly. Okay. Gets a little bumpy there. We want thick paint. I'll probably add a little bit more water to that.
It's such a nice purple.
Right?
Yeah.
This purple. Go right over the hole right there. And then I love to use dirty paintbrush techniques where I don't really clean the brush.
So the colors kind of
Exactly. The colors kind of mix. Now I'm going to go from one extreme to the next. I'm going to go straight into my blue. Add that right in the middle. Start to spread that outwards now. I'm pressing down kind of lightly. That way my purple in here doesn't really mix too much right now. But I can squish down a little more. Make it go around in a circle. Now, if it's easier for you, you can kind of like move this. But for me personally, it's kind of easier to move my own hand.
It looks like you're frosting a cookie.
Right? It kind of does now. Go on the outside. There you go, just like that. Look at that beautiful effect. Awesome. You're more than welcome to grab a little more paint. Anytime the paint gets a little bit thinner, grab a little more. I like that yours has a more atmospheric look.
Oh, thank you.
And it's all that water. Now, I know mine's a little bit wet, so for me, you'll probably see a little bit of paint mixing in with it. Again, let's make sure we have it right up there. I'm going to start with, yes. I'm going to start with my largest one. So, and it's probably going to get bigger. It's just how these things work. See the center right there? Pretty easy to point that out. My tree is going to point to the center. Make a line. That water helps to make it smooth. There you go. See, look at that. Effortless. Beautiful. Draw another one. So I'm going to draw a line.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Me too. There you go.
Okay.
We'll start out with 3 trees and see how we go from there. Lovely. And now, if you'll notice, the trees are a little bit thinner at the top and they get a little wider as they go downwards. So, very, very lightly, this is where we tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap.
Oh, we're tapping. Okay.
Very lightly. You can kind of feel the brush, see if you need more paint, just by feeling it. See if you need to spread out your brush strokes a little bit. There you go. Beautiful. Now, I say this is going to be my biggest tree, but, you know, it could change later. Now, for you, it's perfect right now because you...
Oh, really? You think so?
Yes, yes. It's wet too. The paint is wet, so it'll take the white really well. Now, let's actually make some snow on top of our trees. I'm going to actually start on the bottom this time.
Oh.
And tap, tap, tap. Just to get the feel of it. Tiny little taps on each little row.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. Tiny taps. Kind of get the feel for it. You can see my brush, like you can see the bristles very well. And that's actually a good thing for this kind of technique. Because it just kind of makes the job a little more easier. There you go. Your little Christmas tree out in the forest. If I wanted to make little snowflakes like falling from the sky, I could tap with the other end of my brush. Okay, like that.
Oh.
Now that's super easy. Like you can do that anytime. At any point in the process. And you can see I can get a couple of taps and my snowflakes get a little bit smaller every single time I tap.
Where was the first place you ever, I guess, played with snow?
Oh, Colorado.
Oh.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
I remember I was 10 years old and it had snowed the first night we were there. And I remember it was so fun playing in the snow and having snowball fights. There you go. There you go. Oh. Yeah, reload. Beautiful. Thank you for joining, Marisa.
Thank you. I had so much fun.
Now we have our lovely little snowflakes. Ta-da! Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have fun with it. Happy holidays.
Hannah.
You're welcome.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Magical things happen with our musicians and artists at the hospital all the time. Some days they're extra special. Like today, we had some members of the San Antonio Symphony coming to play music for patients, and we were on the oncology unit, and one of the patients came out of his room to listen to the music and just was so touched, and he wanted to share like a video message and thank you to the musicians and for everyone who helped to make that happen. And when I was in his room, he shared with me that it was his dream to sing "Oh Holy Night" with the San Antonio Symphony. They had already moved on to another floor, but I went back and got them. We came back, the whole group of them, and they accompanied him singing "Oh Holy Night." This is Archie, and he would like to sing with you guys.
Out here, the edge of ice are not behind. Oh, I'm Christ was born. So to hear music moves me inside, and especially Christmas music. But this will be the first Christmas I'm away from my children, and this is to hear music like that moves your soul, moves your heart, and for it to just be played with your whole heart, it's amazing. They did an awesome job. I'm so happy they came and I got to hear it, and I thank you for that. And I thank you for this small gift. Thank you for being here today.
We're glad to be here.
This poem, Amazing Peace, written by Maya Angelou, was read in 2005 at the lighting of the National Christmas Tree. And although this poem was read several years ago, I think it still rings true today. Amazing Peace, a Christmas poem by Maya Angelou. Thunder rumbles in mountain passes, and lightning rattles the eaves of our houses. Floodwaters await in our avenues. Snow falls upon snow, falls upon snow to avalanche over unprotected villages. The sky slips low and gray and threatening. We question ourselves. What have we done to so affront nature? We interrogate and worry God. Are you there? Are you there really? Does the covenant you made with us still hold? Into this climate of fear and apprehension, Christmas enters. Streaming lights of joy, ringing bells of hope, and singing carols of forgiveness high up in the bright air. The world is encouraged to come away from rancor, come the way of friendship. It is the glad season. Thunder ebbs to silence and lightning sleeps quietly in the corner. Floodwaters recede into memory. Snow becomes a yielding cushion to aid us as we make our way to higher ground. Hope is born again in the faces of children. It rides on the shoulders of our aged as they walk into their sunsets. Hope spreads around the earth, brightening all things, even hate, which crouches breeding in dark corridors. In our joy, we think we hear a whisper. At first, it is too soft. Then, only half heard, we listen carefully as it gathers strength. We hear a sweetness. The word is peace. It is loud now, louder than the explosion of bombs. We tremble at the sound. We are thrilled by its presence. It is what we have hungered for. Not just the absence of war, but true peace, a harmony of spirit, a comfort of courtesies, security for our beloveds and their beloveds. We clap hands and welcome the peace of Christmas. We beckon this good season to wait a while with us. We Baptist and Buddhist, Methodist and Muslim say, come, peace. Come and fill us in our world with your majesty. We, the Jew and the Janus, the Catholic and the Confucian, implore you to stay a while with us so we may learn by your shimmering light how to look beyond complexion and see community. It is Christmas time, a halting of hate time. On this platform of peace, we can create a language to translate ourselves to ourselves and to each other. At this holy instant, we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. Into the great religions of the world, we jubilate the precious advent of trust. We shout with glorious tongues the coming of hope. All the earth's tribes loosen their voices to celebrate the promise of hope, to celebrate the promise of peace. We angels and mortals, believers and non-believers, we look heavenward and we speak the word aloud, peace. We look at our world and we speak the word aloud, peace. We look at each other, then into ourselves. And we say without shyness or apology or hesitation, peace, my brother. Peace, my sister. Peace, my soul.
I have a little art project for you that I believe and I hope goes along with the theme of the story that Judy is going to be presenting to us. So I have here a little teacup. In fact, I have 2 of them. And I found these at a thrift store and I feel like they fit so nicely. Okay. It's glass. All right. And for our project, it's going to be important that it's either glass or ceramic. And the paints that I'm going to be using are very special paints. These are enamel paints. I don't know how well you can see that, but enamel paints. You can buy them at any craft store. They're very, very easy to use. And in fact, if you've used acrylic paints, you'll be set with using these. I will be able to put them in the oven. Put my little glasses in the oven to bake and set after I paint it. So just to run through the process of that, after you're finished painting it, you let it air dry for at minimum an hour. Then you're going to place your cup or cups into a cool oven. Don't preheat it beforehand. Make sure it's cool. Set it down in there nicely, safely. Then you can preset your oven for whatever the temperature it says on the bottle. For me, it says 350 degrees. So you set that, let it pre-bake in the oven as it's going to temp. Then you let it bake for 30 minutes. At least that's what mine says. Okay, go with what your bottle says. Then you let it cool in the oven. Don't touch it until it's completely cool to the touch. So that may take maybe 2 hours or so. That's just my guess. So it is a long, lengthy process, but you will have some nice drinkable glassware that you created yourself after the whole process. So I am honored to be able to show you through that process.
A Cup of Christmas Tea by ℍ𝕗𝕝. The log was in the fireplace, all spiced and set to burn. At last the yearly Christmas race was in the clubhouse turn. The cards were in the mail, all the gifts beneath the tree, and 30 days reprieve till Visa could catch up with me. Though smug satisfaction seemed the order of the day, something still was nagging me and would not go away. A week before, I got a letter from my old great aunt. It read, "Of course I'll understand completely if you can't, but if you find you have some time, how wonderful if we could have a little chat and share a cup of Christmas tea." She'd had a mild stroke that year which crippled her left side. Though housebound now, my folks had said, it hadn't hurt her pride. They said she'd love to see you. What a nice thing it would be for you to go and maybe have a cup of Christmas tea. But boy, I didn't want to go. Oh, what a bitter pill to see an old relation and how far she'd gone downhill. I remembered her as vigorous, as funny, and as bright. I remembered Christmas Eves when she regaled us half the night. I didn't want to risk all that. I didn't want the pain. I didn't need to be depressed. I didn't need the strain. And what about my brother? Why not him? She's his aunt too. I thought I had it justified, but then before I knew, the reasons not to go I so painstakingly had built were cracking wide and crumbling in an acid rain of guilt. I put on my boots and gloves and cap, shame stinging every pore, and armed with squeegee, sand, and map, I went out my front door. I drove in from the suburbs to the older part of town. The pastels of the newer homes gave way to gray and brown. I had that disembodied feeling as the car pulled up and stopped beside the wooden house that held the Christmas cup. How I got up to her door, I really couldn't tell. I watched my hand rise up and press the button of the bell. I waited, aided by my nervous rocking to and fro, and just as I was thinking I should turn around and go, I heard the rattle of the china in the hutch against the wall. The triple beat of 2 feet and a crutch came down the hall. The clicking of the door latch and the sliding of the bolt, and a little swollen struggle popped it open with a jolt. She stood there, pale and tiny, looking fragile as an egg. I forced myself from staring at the brace that held her leg. And though her thick bifocals seemed to crack and spread her eyes, their milky and refracted depths lit up with young surprise. "Come in," she laughed the words and took me by the hand, and all my fears dissolved away as if by her command. We went inside, and then before I knew how to react, before my eyes and ears and nose was Christmas past, alive, intact. The scent of candied oranges, of cinnamon and pine, the antique wooden soldiers in their military line, the porcelain nativity I'd always loved so much, the Dresden and the crystal I'd been told I mustn't touch. My spirit fairly bolted like a child out of class and danced among the ornaments of calico and glass. Like magic, I was 6 again, deep in a Christmas spell, steeped in the million memories that the boy inside knew well. And here among old Christmas cards so lovingly displayed, a special place of honor for the ones we kids had made. And there beside her rocking chair, the center of it all, my great aunt stood and said how nice it was I'd come to call. I sat and rattled on about the weather and the flu. She listened very patiently, then smiled and said, "What's new?" Thoughts and words began to flow. I started making sense. I lost the phony breeziness I use when I get tense. She was still passionately interested in everything I did, She was positive, encouraging, like when I was a kid. Simple generalities still sent her into fits. She demanded the specifics, the particulars, the bits. We talked about the limitations that she'd had to face. She spoke with utter candor and with humor and good grace. Then, defying the reality of crutch and straightened knee, on wings of hospitality she flew to brew the tea. I sat alone with feelings that I hadn't felt in years. I looked around at Christmas through a thick, hot blur of tears. And the candles and the holly she'd arranged on every shelf, the impossibly good cookies she still somehow baked herself. But these rich and tactile memories became quite pale and thin when measured by the Christmas my great-aunt kept deep within. Her body halved and nearly spent, but my great-aunt was whole. I saw a Christmas miracle, the triumph of a soul. The triple beat of 2 feet and a crutch came down the hall, the rattle of the china in the hutch against the wall. She poured 2 cups, she smiled, and then she handed one to me. And then we settled back and had a cup of Christmas tea.
The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long may the world in sin and error burn till He appeared, and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of the weary world rejoices, for yonder a new and glorious dawn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Of faith supremely beaming, with glowing hearts by His cradle we stand. The weary world rejoices, for yonder a new and glorious dawn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
Since 1822, more than 200 years, or almost 200 years ago, This poem has been a Christmas classic. Clement Clark Moore wrote it for his 9 children. But at that time, of course, he was a pastor and a scholar, and he thought it was too trivial to have his name on it. So it wasn't until several years later that his children added his name to the famous poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there rose such a clatter. I sprung from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles their coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Dunder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys was flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprung to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Hi everyone, happy holidays. We are going to make some snowflake art today. Who's feeling stressed? Me, yes. Okay, so the mandala drawing is very stress relieving. Your brain automatically wants to make the repetitive motions that go into making these beautiful pieces. I've made a few examples of some snowflakes that we're going to make today. Typical mandalas are an 8-sided event. You can divide your paper into 8 equal parts, but Mother Nature has seen fit to make the snowflake a hexagon. All ice crystals form in hexagonal shapes. And so I have a book that shows, these are real snowflakes. I don't know if y'all can see them, but they are 6-sided. And so when you do an art piece, this is a good example. An art piece like a mandala in 6 sides, the mind kind of automatically goes to snowflake. So we'll put that away. And here is a picture of what the finished grid, I did this in pen so that hopefully you can see how this looks a little bit better. The finished grid, but I'm going to show you, we do it very lightly in pencil, and then grab your polymer eraser and you're going to erase your lines. After these are just your guidelines, okay? Square pieces of paper work best. So the supplies you're going to need are metallic Sharpies. I have silver, and we have the white jelly roll pens. You're going to need a pencil and your, middle school compass. And this little tool is very helpful. This is kind of a 360-degree protractor. You can do it with the 180-degree protractor that we all had in geometry class back in the day, but this just makes it so much easier. I'll show you how to do it. Okay, and then your eraser and a ruler. Okay, and I love the gray paper. I've done this on blue paper before too, which is really pretty, the snowflakes. Okay, so you're going to start with your ruler. And you're going to measure half on your paper. You want your paper divided exactly in half. So I've got 12 by 12 here. So I'm marking a 6-inch dot on either side of my paper. Okay, this helps us find the center. And now I'm going to make a line all the way across. Okay. And then on your line, you want to find center again. Once you do this a couple of times, it becomes very easy. Okay, so you need that center dot for this little tool, our protractor. Now you're going to line it up. It has a little register mark for center, and you want the 0 degrees to be on your flat line. So in order to get 6 equal sides, we're going to mark at 60-degree intervals. So we're going to go 60, 60, and we've already got our 2 lines here, and then 60 degrees here, and then 60 degrees here. Okay. And then take your ruler and draw a line across through your center point and your 60-degree marks directly on the other side. This is the fastest way to equally divide your paper into 6. It's a pizza with 6 slices, pretty much. Okay. All right. So we've got our pizza. Then we're going to take our protractor, our compass, the circle maker, and, just dab into your center and very gently trace your circles. These circles are completely, it doesn't matter at what intervals you make them. They're just guidelines, and they're going to be erased after the finished piece is done. And it's easier just to turn your paper instead of turning this thing. And so, yes.
And how many circles do we want to make?
As many as you want.
Okay.
They're completely arbitrary.
Okay.
If you think you want a more detailed piece, you can draw more circles to kind of keep you in line. I usually do about 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. This is a completely stress-relieving activity, although the grid seems stressful, didn't it? But the drawing part of it, it's completely stress-relieving. And I'll start on one, and then I'll just put it aside, and then I'll go back to it later. And, just kind of have one working, where I have a few minutes and I want to go do something that's, just for me. I'll go and work on it. So start in the middle. Okay, the key to mandala drawing is to make the exact same mark in each section. And then you turn, instead of going around like this, you want to turn your paper. Okay. And like I was saying before, the brain and the hand, the repetitive motion is where the kind of the zen, kind of the stress relief comes from. You just sort of lose track of time and enjoy just how this type of drawing just becomes, you know, something like this, you know, which is, you can see it starts out very simple in the middle. And then this was all completely freehand. I mean, it was, you know, just go where the drawing takes you. And the lines really help you. These jelly pens are out. The lines really help you stay on target and create something that's the same all the way around. And that's kind of the goal. You can use the lines as guidelines. You can use them to draw on. And again, you just want to make your mark, rotate, make the exact same mark in the next section. Some of these are very geometric, and this one I tried to make a little bit more lacy, like it looked like ice crystals. It has a little bit of the silver in it, but it's mostly the white. This one has a lot more of the silver Sharpie in it. And see how at the edge, how I got really, you know, wispy, like almost to look like snow blowing. So it is completely your own creation, however you want to make it. But you can see how quickly it kind of takes shape. Oh yeah, see, yours is much more lacy than mine. I like that. I like that.
The freedom of being able to do it, but there's a little structure with the guidelines.
Yes, the guidelines kind of keep you on target, but at the same time, it can become anything that you want it to be. When I would teach art to patients at the hospital, I would always encourage them, you know, if you can't think of something in your mind, like how you want your piece to look, absolutely look it up. Look it up on the internet. You can look up, if you don't have a book on snowflakes, I just collected that because I find snowflakes to be fascinating. But look it up online, because there's nothing like seeing another visual for inspiration. You know, you can go completely freeform with this, or you can say, oh, okay, I visualize it now after I've seen a picture of it. Now I can create what I want it to look like. And sometimes mistakes are where you get a great inspiration. Like, oh, I made a mistake. No, just cover it up and make the same mistake on all the other areas, and no one will ever be able to tell. It's all about, you know, just passing the time and creativity, and then you have something beautiful when you're finished. So this has been the 6-sided snowflake mandala project.
Yes.
Thanks for creating with us, everyone. Happy holidays.